Hello everyone, welcome to our November 2022 membership meeting. Have lots of great announcements to make. First of all, our regular membership announcement. If you're not a member of the Arts Consortium, we invite you to become a member. All you have to do is go on our website and you can find out more information, or you can call our office and get more information that way. If you have events that are coming up in the near future, you can go to hello@artsconsortium.org and you can make those announcements there. The Arts Consortium is very happy to do that for you. That is an offer that we make to our membership. And also the Artist Master List. All you have to do is enter your name, your number, and your art medium. And also, we have had some artists that have received a commission coming out of that. So we are continuing to work on that. And we appreciate those of you who have already placed your names on that Artist Master List. If you know of other artists in the area, that you encourage them to do so. This December the 13th, we are having our annual Soup and Sip membership meeting. And we're looking forward to seeing many of you attend this. It will be at the Brandon Mitchell Gallery, and there will be all kinds of goodies there. And of course, the soups are absolutely delicious. You will really miss out if you don't attend. So please come and network with us and meet other artists. We look forward to having you come. Later in this meeting, we will have the executive director give you an update on all the happenings of the Arts Consortium. We don't stand still. We're always working toward bringing art opportunities to the community, and he'll be updating you on that. One of the things I'd like to mention is Taste the Arts that we had this October. It was a wonderful success. We had wonderful attendance, the best we've ever had. We also had many fantastic artists that were there, a variety of artists. I had some individuals that didn't know about the Taste of the Arts that I mentioned that to them. They came to the Taste of the Arts and they were very impressed and are looking forward to it next year. So thank you to all those who participated. Thank you to all those who attended, and we look forward to next year. We also would like to make an announcement of our presenter. We have Judith Bowling from the TULARE-KINGS writers group, and she will be doing a wonderful presentation, and we ask you to stay tuned for that. We look forward to seeing you in January of 2023. There's a lot of work that goes into doing this for you. So please attend that way and let us know what you think about our virtual meetings. And I thank you, and I'll catch you in January. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Judith Bixby Bowling, and welcome to Arts Consortium's November membership meeting. I'm a native Californian. I was raised in the Mojave Desert, actually. I was raised in Lancaster. My dad was a carpet installer, and my mom for most of my life was a stay-at-home mom. I was married when I was 18, and my husband and our one child and I moved up here in 1977. My second child was born here, and we've been living here ever since. I was a member of, I'm very proud to say that I was a member of the very first graduating class of the COS paralegal program, and I worked for a number of years as a paralegal. I then worked as a specifier, a construction specifier, and that is a very specific job. When a architect draws drawings for a commercial or public building, there's a book that goes with it that's called the construction manual, and it describes all of the materials that are used in making that building, from the lumber and the concrete to the finishes, the paint, the carpeting, the flooring, whatever it is. And as a specifier, it's my responsibility to assemble that book and to help to assist the architect in selecting the materials sometimes, and making sure that, for instance, the electrical engineer and the structural engineer see the specifications that relate to their specialties to make sure that they are what they want them to say. I represent TULARE-KINGS writers. We are a networking group for writers of all genres, and we invite you to come to our meetings on the third Saturday of the month at 10 o'clock. Steve Pastis actually began the group, and he had it for, I think, 5 years, and then passed it on to Gloria, and she had it for I don't know how many years, and she passed it on to me in 2020. We used to meet at the library, but they have not yet reopened their meeting rooms to the public. So we are currently looking for a place to meet. When we resumed meetings after the COVID lockdowns, we met at a park. But because of the weather, we know that we cannot meet in the park during the winter. We need a room that will hold probably 10 to 15 people. And we need it for about 2 hours on the Saturday morning from 10 to noon. The meetings are kind of fluid. Sometimes we just talk and get to know each other. Sometimes we talk about whatever it is we're writing and maybe the problems that we're having with our current work in progress. Sometimes we have guests who talk on various aspects of writing, editing, publishing, cover designs, writing the blurb that's on the backside of your book, which is a problem for a lot of authors. But sometimes we do writing exercises. We will maybe do some flash fiction, or we will come up with an idea and say, you have 5 minutes to write a paragraph on this, whatever the topic is. But so the meetings vary on what we do, but we always try to make it interesting and relevant to the writers. Key members of TULARE-KINGS writers, Gloria Getman, who writes cozy mysteries, and she just finished a historical fiction book. I think it's going to be her last book, and very, very nice book. She was president for a number of years, and she just turned the mantle over to me a couple of years ago. Let's see who else. Oh, Sylvia Ross is also a key member of the group, and she's written children's books as well as historical fiction, and she also has written several books that are based on fact but are a fiction book. The one that I remember off the top of my head is Elsa Rowe, which is it's based on a story of one of her relatives, and it's a really, really interesting book. So the woman was mentally ill, and it tells about her life. Who else? Oh, Irene Morse. Now, a lot of people know Irene Morse from the Ice House theater groups, but Irene has written a number of memoirs and some travel books because she and her husband traveled widely. And she's also written 4 children's books. And the children in those books have superpowers, but they're not like superpowers like Superman or anybody has. Their superpowers are things like one of the children can speak every animal language. Another one's superpower is empathy. So, they're special superpowers. And those are mainly the people that are the key folks in the group. The mission is to support other writers, really. It's a group for writers. It's a networking group for writers about writers. And we're here to support you and to help you along your way. Of course, we just finished with participating in Taste the Arts, where we had a booth selling our books. All of the books were written by members of our group, and we're all local authors. We all live in Tulare or Kings County. We've started talking again about finding other venues where we can sell our books. So that's one of the things that we do to help support writers is finding outlets for book sales. Ron Coulard, he's a retired Superior Court judge. He's written 2 books on cases that he handled when he was at the district attorney's office. I think one of them is like Visalia murder or murder in Visalia. He's also written a book of short stories. I think they're all fiction, but they're short stories about murder as well. We all write very differently. I write historical fiction almost exclusively, but we have people who write fantasy. We have people who write true crime, like Ron Coulard. We have people who write, let's see what else do, cozy mysteries. We have people who write fiction books that are based on real events. We have people who are poets and people who write children's books. Pretty much, you think of a genre and we've got somebody who writes it. One of the things that is a common topic of conversation is traditional publishing versus self-publishing. A great many of us are including myself, are self-published because becoming traditionally published has become increasingly hard. You can't even, the rejection notices just keep on coming. And so people have turned to self-publishing as a means of being able to get their work out there. It's become increasingly difficult over the years, but it's always been a hard thing to do. So I usually come in with an idea, and I usually know how it's going to start, and I have a good idea of how it's going to end, but the middle is kind of muddled. But it comes to me as I'm writing. I'm a pantser personally. I write from the seat of my pants. Other people have detailed outlines and stick to that religiously and end up with a good book. So it just depends on how, or some people have a vague idea, they write maybe an outline but they're not afraid to veer from that outline. So that's, you have to find your own style. And we can kind of help with that sometimes too. I write very differently than a lot of people do because I belong to what's called a critique group, and we meet twice a month. So I have a tendency to do a lot of writing and rewriting on one or two chapters at a time, and then so that it's presentable to the group, so that they don't have to just muddle through things. So I'm kind of editing as I go, whereas a lot of people write their entire manuscript before they even look at it again and edit. So, and some people will do 20 or 30 or more edits on the entire manuscript. Others fewer, but I have a tendency to to edit as I write, so that by the time I actually finish the book, it's pretty much edited. I don't have to do a whole lot to it once it's done. If they wanted to start a critique group, they need to find a few 3 or 4 writers who are would like to join them in that group, and then get together, share their work, and be ready to take constructive criticism. For instance, we met Thursday night, and I got a message from one of the members of the group that said, "I really hate your prologue." And it was like, okay,
Is that constructive?
Yes, it was. Mm-hmm. She explained to me why she really hated it, and so and I sat back and thought about it, and and I may do some changing on it just based on some of the things she said, but then again, I may just leave it the way it is. So, but yeah, and that's the one part that you like about those kinds of things is that, and we can even talk about that at Tulare-KINGS Writers. We can talk about things like that. But if you're a writer, you have to have pretty thick skin because not everybody's going to like what you write. Everybody has their own ideas. So,
are there, and now going back to you specifically, are there themes that you like to stick to in your writing?
Oh, I don't know. I'm writing a series currently that is about a woman who was put in a very impossible situation by her father, and she's mostly managed to, in the 2 books that I've already published, she's mostly managed to get out of those problems, but it's created new problems for her. I'm currently writing the prequel to that book, and it's about her father and why he made the decisions that he made that put her in that situation.
And otherwise, is it still nonfiction, sort of?
Oh, it's still historical fiction. Yeah, it's still historical fiction. Yeah, the new book is a combination. I'm writing her father's part of the book in first person, but I'm writing the antagonist part in third person. No, you would not believe the number of writers in the Valley. And the nice thing about writing is that you can write anywhere. My personal circumstances have changed quite a bit in the last year, And I do a lot of my writing at Starbucks and at Panera Bread. Um, but that's the lovely part, though, is writing is a fairly solitary activity, but you can write at home. You can write, you don't have to go to an office to write. You can write at home. You can write at a restaurant. You can write on an airplane. You can write wherever you want to write. So, you don't have to stay at home and do it. You can go take it with you and wherever you want to go. A lot of people write strictly on their computers. I have a tendency to write both longhand and on the computer. In fact, I've been writing more and more longhand than I have on the typewriter recently. One of the things we did a few years ago was TULARE-KINGS writers decided to do an anthology. And a lot of anthologies have a theme, or in some of them just are just a compilation. But our theme is very different. Our theme are stores in a strip mall. And so we wrote Tales from the Strip Mall. And I edited this book, and we published it in 2019. And every story in it relates to a store in the strip mall. And there's a used clothing store. There's a dog groomer. There's a Mexican restaurant. There's a donut shop. There's a vacuum store. There's a jewelry store. Trying to think. Oh, yes, I forgot about Carolyn's pot shop. It's called the Pot Shop, and in the front of the building you can buy flower pots and plants and that kind of thing, but if you go around to the alley, you can buy marijuana edibles. So some of them are funny, some of them are scary. My grandson and I wrote a story about a kind of a creepy toy store. Irene and two of her great-grandchildren wrote a story about a story that it's called Build a Koala. And so we just had a really good time writing these individual stories. The book's available on Amazon, and it's $10. Well, if you're interested in joining us at TULARE-KINGS Writers, you can contact me at TULARE-KINGS-WritersCA@gmail.com. That's all one word, lowercase. And I can provide you with that information of the meeting as soon as I find out where we're going to meet this month. This city is really crying for a bookstore. And yeah, we know about the new one, but for whatever reason, Barnes and Nobles doesn't want to come here, and so, but to get a new bookstore, you have to go to Bakersfield, you have to go to Fresno, and people are crying for a bookstore. In fact, we had the sign that said neighborhood bookstore on it, which is something we're talking about making our own. And people wanted to know, where is the bookstore? And it's a pop-up bookstore. So, it's just, we will show up wherever we can. And so we're just looking for places to show up. Well, tiny libraries are actually just little boxes that people, and in fact, I just saw one on Nextdoor the other day where somebody has installed one. But the tiny bookstores are usually just a box where you can exchange books, take one, leave one kind of thing. And you don't even have to leave one, though. You can just take one. And it's a free of charge thing. You just, where you can just go and get a book. I view the tiny bookstores differently, or the tiny book boxes things. I view those very differently than a pop-up bookstore or even a real bookstore or and a used bookstore. It's different in that it's a free book. And so that anybody who has access to that little box can get a book if there's one there that they would enjoy reading. And they might end up reading a genre that they've never read before, so it might introduce them to something. But it's kind of like a free library where you can just go and get it, and if you don't like it, you can bring it back, or you can keep it, or whatever. So they're important because they get books into people's hands, and where they might not have that book before. Several years ago, we went back east for Thanksgiving with my husband's parents and family. And we ended up in Pennsylvania because that's where his brother was stationed in the Army. He was at in Carlisle. And we went up there and spent Thanksgiving, and then we went into Harrisburg and went to a museum, but we also went to this indoor marketplace. Now, there were a lot of Amish people there selling, but it was the neatest place, and I keep looking at that space where Ross used to be in the mall, and I keep thinking, oh, that would make such a great marketplace, because it was not only fruits and vegetables and cheese and butter and meat, but it was all these artisans. There were jewelry and artists, and there was just, it was a plethora of people, you know, just selling. And then this was a daily thing. I mean, it was open every day of the week. And I keep thinking, you know, we really need a place like that. And but they don't seem to do that here. So
yeah, everything is really slow progress here.
yeah,
But I mean, it's definitely gotten better than when I first moved.
oh sure,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just really slow.
yeah. No, we've been here 45 years now.
So I'm sure you've
Yeah.
noticed a lot of changes.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully for the better.
Yes and no. It was a really tiny little town when we moved. Oh, well, it wasn't tiny, but you know, we were under 100,000 people when we moved here. Yeah.
I mean, for the arts.
Yeah, oh, for the arts. I think actually, you know, Three Rivers has always been an artist colony, and I think that's always dribbled down into Visalia a bit. And so, you know, I think that the arts have always been here. It's just that I think they're more open now than they used to be.
In what sense?
Well, in that we see them more. We're more aware of them, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just more aware of them. But and I know more artists now. So you know, contact me also at TULARE-KINGS TULARE-KINGS@gmail.com if you want to. If you have a location for us to meet, or if you want to donate money or anything for us. Right now, what we really need is places to be able to sell our books, or in a meeting place, and that's primarily what we need right now. Members have been, you know, we've been using our members tables and things like that. I recently bought us a new banner, and which was used for the very first time at Taste the Arts. And so, you know, that's mainly our big needs right now. Well, thank you all for joining us this month at the Arts Consortium member meeting. Join us again at Brandon Mitchell in December for our soup supper.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Arts Consortium membership meeting, this time for November of 2022. My name is Ampelio Mejia Perez. I'm the Executive Director of the Arts Consortium, Tulare County's Arts Council. We are going to start off by listening to the sounds of rain and cars and the sounds of the Oval. And speaking of the sounds of the Oval, this first Friday we were able to get out here and do some karaoke, and we had Linda Mendez and we had Eric Valdovinos showing their digital work, showing their t-shirts. Both of them had these different items, very different items, but you could use it, you could take it home, you could wear it. It was really wonderful. We want to thank the few and the brave who came out to and braved the cold and then and all the elements and came out and joined us for some hot chocolate and some karaoke. We had a really good time. I want to go ahead and start talking about the South Valley Art Tour. The South Valley Art Tour is back. It's coming back in 2023. We're looking forward to it quite a bit, and there are big news about it. This year we've lowered our prices even further. We want to make sure that our events are accessible and affordable to as many people as possible. And seeing as the South Valley Art Tour is very different from the Taste the Arts, we are going to reduce the price to $25 to members and $50 to non-members. Again, $25 to members and $50 to non-members. So we hope that any creative space will join us for this celebration of all of the art spaces in Tulare County. What the point of this event is to show people, especially young people, that if they're considering being artists, they don't necessarily need to be in a full facility. They can be in a garage, they can be in the living room, they can be in a backyard. And so we are highlighting creative spaces. Tulare County is as diverse as we get, and so we want to make sure that we show and we include all these different venues. from Highway 198 all the way down to Early Mart. If you or anyone you know have a creative space anywhere within these bounds, you're welcome to sign up at the link here and at the description. You can also scan this bar and it'll take you directly to our website so you can register as an artist. Just because it says, even though it says artist, it is welcoming organizations as well. So we look forward to seeing you sign up. We've made a couple changes and we plan on making a few more. So if you're interested in collaborating with the South Valley Art Tour, please come by tomorrow, Wednesday evening at 5:30 p.m. We'll have our South Valley Art Tour committee meeting. So we've started seeing submissions for the self-help murals and we're very excited. The quality as expected is very high and we encourage the rest of you to continue considering it and start making those proposals and get your proposal in. $15,000 for the east facing wall, $14,500 for the west facing wall. That is I think it's a great deal. We want to give a huge thanks to everybody involved in Taste the Arts. It was as far as we can tell, it was a huge success. We are always learning. We're always trying to improve it. So we did pass out a survey, and if you haven't seen it, please click on the link below and give us your feedback. I really want to thank all 25 of you for watching this video, and I hope that you'll share it with another 25 people, and then they'll share it too, so that we can spread the word about these really, really cool events. You know, we've got the South Valley Art Tour, we've got the murals coming up, we've got First Fridays that we place and display art. We also have 3 farmers markets throughout the month where we are placing artists, and you know, we've got the artist master list like Rita mentioned. We've got our own full bio artist list on our website. There are a good amount of artist opportunities and we keep increasing them. Thank you so much for joining us for the Arts Consortium's membership meeting for November. We hope to see you in December for our in-person soup dinner. Thank you.